Welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Browse Barbecue, and welcome to the post-game show with what went right, what went wrong, and what was missing against Northern Illinois. Mississippi State gets the 38-10 victory over Northern Illinois, and a game where in the second half, Mississippi State's, I think the state had a total of 452 yards in this game. 300 of it came in the second half. Really a sloppy first half for Mississippi State, and we'll discuss some of that. I think in the end, kind of the talent disparity between the MAC and the SEC showed up, honestly, as it should with any SEC team versus a MAC team, unless you're Toledo from last season. Then Mississippi State proved that is not true. But in this game, honestly, Northern Illinois had a very good game plan in the beginning to try to keep the ball away from Mississippi State, and was successful there in the first half. And then really towards the end of the first half and into the second half, State just completely controlled the time of possession, ended up having it for almost 32 minutes of the game. And one thing we'll talk about throughout this week is that Mississippi State, in order to beat a team like Tennessee, they're going to have to control the time of possession. So we'll talk about all that. Also, man, thank you for those who participated in the first ever Hovey hat giveaway. We're doing that every week. So we'll post on Thursday. We'll send out the tweet on Thursday. Just follow at MyDawgsPod on Twitter, and from there, we will kind of have a place you can drop your prediction for who wins the game, what's the score. If you get it right, Hovey will they'll mail you one of their really neat Mississippi State performance hats. So excited about that. Thankful to Hovey. Thankful for those who were there for the first contest. And yeah, we will get into it. I think this is a game that, State wins by 28 points. But to be honest, if some of those connections were there in the first half, this one might be a lot greater in disparity between the scores. So we'll talk about all that. I think NIU again played about as good as they could have. State had a lot of things to work on. In particular, one thing that we'll talk about when it comes to what went wrong. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. But first, we want to let you know that this episode and every episode of My Dogs Pod is presented by our presenting sponsor, Heath Riles Barbecue. And look, man, if you are a backyard griller, if you're someone who loves to do competitions with barbecue, you need Heath Riles seasoning. Man, I had some wings today that I had some with Heath Riles, like teriyaki, Cajun teriyaki wings on the smoker. Absolutely phenomenal. And look, Heath Riles Barbecue, it's home to award-winning rubs, seasonings, glazes, marinades, like you name it, covers it all. It's created by 2025 Memphis and May Grand Champion and 81-time Grand Champion Heath Riles. His products are trusted by pit masters and backyard cooks alike. You can get all of his products at over 15,000 retailers nationwide, or we'll save you some money just for being a listener of the show. Go to HeathRilesBarbecue.com and our promo code DAWGS10, DAWGS10. Get 10% off. Heath Riles Barbecue has you covered. Grill with confidence, season like a pro. Also, hey, look, you looking for your new favorite Mississippi State hat? Look no further. If you're just an SEC fan watching, your new favorite SEC hat, Hovey hats have you covered. They're high-quality headwear that will have you and your friends asking about them. Take a look at their collection of Mississippi State hats at HoveyDryGoods.com. I think I got one right here. Hovey offers limited edition hats in small batches, bringing a fresh look to some of your favorite teams. So go grab your new favorite hat at HoveyDryGoods.com. Again, thank you to Hovey for sponsoring our giveaway series for this football season. Go to MyDawgsPod, follow us on Twitter, and each week you can be a part of that. You can keep trying, man. If you missed the first week, no worries. You got another chance. You missed that week, you got another chance. But yeah, certainly thankful to Hovey for being there. Also, man, I want to let you know that we are presented by ENT Physicians in North Mississippi, the largest private ENT practice in the state, and their goal is simple: deliver fast, expert, comprehensive care for all patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with the same day or next day appointments with EMT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team offering a full range of services from hearing aids and custom hearing protection to potential surgical options. ENT Physicians of North Mississippi is committed to removing barriers to care. And here's the deal. They now have new locations in New Albany, Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. So in this game for Mississippi State, the first half is not what you look like. If you look at the full scope of this game, I think if you're just looking at stats, I think you're fairly pleased. Because look, you held Northern Illinois overall to 267 yards, and anytime you can hold someone to under 275 for the day, I think you're doing pretty good. And Northern Illinois didn't have a great they don't have a great reputation for having a great offense so far this season. In fact, State actually kept them under their season average of 14 a game. They only scored 10 in this game, and that was all in the first half. So for Mississippi State, having the if you look at the stats of like rushing and passing, Mississippi State blew them out of the water on everything. 452 for Mississippi State, 267 for Northern Illinois. Penalties is a different story. We will get to that. But I love Northern Illinois had a really good game plan. Thomas Hammock, I mentioned before, but people love him so much because of his kind of sincerity on NIL and transfer portal and all those things. I bet he'll probably have something to say about his former players that probably didn't play a ton in this game. I don't think I saw a ton of Nevaeh Sanders. I don't know if Ray Thomas might have played a little bit. I don't remember seeing Cam Thompson out there at all. So that will be interesting to hear what he has to say in the post game. But for Mississippi State, they were able to run the ball effectively in this game, which in the end you think they ought to be with the amount of talent they have in the offensive line compared to NIU. But NIU's defense, give credit, man, is really good, really good. Their front seven is really, really good, and they're going to be an issue in the MAC. I mean, the teams they're going to have to go up and face in the MAC are going to struggle with them greatly, I think. Just because of the talent that they have there. And they were flying to the ball. And I've said this throughout the season, Mississippi State has struggled to run the ball in between the tackles in this game. Off tackle, Mississippi State has a lot of speed. Like when Johnny Daniels is in the game, and he didn't play in this game, he runs quickly off the edge. Fluff Bothwell off the edge. Davon Booth seems to do good off the edge. In between the tackles, State can't run the ball very well. And it was one of the issues against Arizona State this year. Arizona State just said, okay, we'll set the edge, and you're not going to be able to run up the middle either. And so State had to kind of see if they could overcome that. And in the second half, they really, really struggled with it. Really struggled throughout the whole game. And in this game, I thought NIU kind of did the same thing. They tried to get out on the edge, and State didn't even really seem to bother with it. They just went up the middle and really, really, really struggled early on. As the game went on, it seemed like Mississippi State's offensive line was kind of able to overpower NIU's defenders. And from there, they had a lot of success. I mean, you look at, kind of the average yards per play for State's 6.6. They almost had 69 plays in this game. They're 4 for 4 on fourth downs. In this one, 23 first downs in the game. So what went right for Mississippi State in this game? I would just say it seems like they have an established runner, and that's Fluff Bothwell. I for whatever reason, I don't really know the X's and O's behind it. Davon Booth, it's not. I don't know if he's not picking the right holes. I don't know if it's just not working when he's in there. But Fluff Bothwell seems like they have found that he's the number one rusher for this team. 17 rushes in this game, 101 yards, averaged almost 6 yards a carry, 5.9 yards per carry. Obviously, he leads the team in rushing touchdowns. Fluff seemed to really kind of solidify himself. And overall, I mean, the team had almost 300 yards in rushing in this game. And Shapen also had a good part of that. I mean, Shapen averaged almost 5 yards a carry and had 51 yards overall in this game. Xavier Gayton was good later on in the game. But overall, like the person that I think really deserves the player of the game is Fluff Bothwell. He played really, really well. And it seems like State was able to establish, okay, this is going to be our running back, because he seemed to get more confident as the game went on. And here's the deal. If State wants to beat Tennessee next week and go 5-0, and do something that really no one thinks they would be able to do. And honestly, at this point, probably no one thinks they're going to be able to do it anyway. They have to run the ball well, because you got to keep the ball out of Tennessee's hands. To be quite frank, and again, we'll cover this in our shows on Monday and Thursday this week, Tennessee has a lot more talent than Mississippi State has. That's just kind of how it goes. However, teams with less talent win all the time, and a lot of the times the upsets are due to being able to control the clock. And State's going to have to control the clock. And how do you do that? Run the ball effectively. And so I think what went right for Mississippi State, their offense found a way. Honestly, I understand that Mississippi State's defense held NIU to 10 points, but NIU held the ball for a long time. I mean, they got plenty of first downs, held the ball for almost 28, or held the ball for over 28 minutes in this game. So defense kept them out of the end zone, and that's good when push came to shove, that they kept them out of there. But I don't know, man. State let some plays go in this game, and I really feel like the running game is the bigger piece of it as opposed to defense, because the defense had people, and NIU moved the ball on this defense throughout the day. What went wrong for Mississippi State? I think that the most clear thing that went wrong for the Bulldogs is the penalties. I mean, 11 penalties for over 100 yards. If you remember week one, State had, I believe it was 14 penalties in the first game. They cleaned it up a little bit over the past couple of weeks. But I mean, they're averaging like 9 penalties a game, if I'm not mistaken, maybe right at 10. And those are the type of things that will get you beat easy. Because look, when you're playing a team like Tennessee, you cannot afford to have some of those issues. Like you have to have them cleaned up. And I just don't know if State, like, it seems like this is the fourth game. To have 11 penalties in the fourth game of the season is man, it's a little shocking. Like, I don't know. That's to me, that's the clearest thing that went wrong. And honestly, another thing I think that went wrong, but I don't think it's the biggest thing, but Blake Shapen missed a couple of downfield throws, as I mentioned in the very beginning of the show. Had he completed them to Mosley and Anthony Evans and Brendan Thompson, this game's probably, I don't know, 56-10. If 56-7, whatever the case may be. State had a chance to really, really pull it out. And then what would happen is, going really long, all of a sudden you're setting yourself back into 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, and then the running game wasn't there in a couple spots early in the game, and they had to punt the ball away. And for State, they didn't have any turnovers. Shapen didn't turn it over. I thought Shapen played really smart. There was really only one run where I felt like, just throw it out of bounds kind of thing. But overall, he played really well. He was sacked a couple of times in the game. But Mississippi State overall played really well. But they have got to get the penalty thing cleaned up. And honestly, that's the thing that Jeff Lebby said in his post-game interview. It's funny. I was talking to my wife. And so my wife loved Mike Leach. I mean, everybody loves Mike Leach. But if you're a listener and you're married, like, you know how it is. If you watch a game with your wife, I'm assuming it's only guys who listen to this show. I hadn't seen the demographics for this show specifically on that matter. If we have any female listeners, thank you. Thanks for listening. But she loved Mike Leach, and so she didn't really care about football, but she would watch any Mike Leach interview. And so I said, hey, pay attention to Mississippi State's coach now and tell me what you think about his personality. And she was like, he is so boring. And I'm like, well, welcome to coach speak. It's not a ton of fun. But the thing he did say, outside of, kind of the generic coach talk of anyway, is the penalties have to get cleaned up. I mean, there's just no excuse for 11 penalties in the game that negated so many yards. So mixed with that and the downfield shots, if you clean those things up going into next week, who knows? But I don't think State fans are like really, really encouraged by this outcome. I don't. I mean, I think what will hold them back is the penalty thing and the fact that they missed some of the shots that they had not missed against Arizona State and Alcorn and Southern Miss. And look, at the end of the game, Shapen hit Anthony Evans III for a really, really deep throw. In fact, what was it? 57 yards. Hit Mosley for 45 yards earlier in the game. Thompson only had 2 catches for 13 yards, but Evans led them with 4 catches and 80 yards. Honestly, the passing game overall was just that will lead us. I'll pause there. That'll lead us into our missing segment. We'll get to that here in just a moment, right after these messages from MPW Digital, including a new sponsor alert. Man, so thankful for our sponsors and thankful for our listeners as well. So we'll be right back after this, and we'll get back to our missing segment and what went right, what went wrong, what was missing against Northern Illinois.
All MPW digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley in Washington. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them because any beer.
Steps away from the drill field on campus and a short walk to Davis Wade Stadium, 5 Points Condominiums puts the Mississippi State University at your doorstep. The fully renovated, large 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom floor plans at over 1,600 square feet of living space feel even bigger with 9-foot ceilings. 5 Points Condominiums is a perfect place for Bulldog students, parents, alumni, and fans to call home. For purchase information on the best deal in Starkville, call Kane and Overstreet Properties at 662-323-8618. That's Kane and Overstreet Properties, 662-323-8618.
Welcome back to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Rouse Barbecue. Also, want to let you know, man, I almost forgot, but at the same time, how could I? Because I'm all caffeinated up. Thanks to our sponsor, ARPA's in the heart of the Cotton District. Man, ARPA's understands that great food, great times are really built a lot of the time by people we spend time with. And man, there's nothing better than spending time with your loved ones. And ARPA's in the heart of the Cotton District, the best part of Starkville, and sipping a delicious Venezuelan coffee or having a nice Venezuelan meal. Like, it's just a good time at ARPA's, man. And look, we'll save you 15% whenever you mention you're a listener of the show. So go in there and say, hey, Jose and family, we love being here. Jose will take care of you guys, and we want to save some money. Can we get that 15% off MyDawgsPod discount? And they will say absolutely. So thank you so much to ARPA's for being a partner with the show. What went missing from Mississippi State? What was missing from the game? And that's honestly what I talked about before the break. It's the passing game. Blake Shapen, 12 for 20, 160, a touchdown. He made some very good decisions running the ball. He got down effectively. He slid like his life depended on it throughout this game. I thought that was a good touch. The passing game was missing in this game, and it's the thing that gives people fear because of Brennan Thompson downfield, because of those pieces, and it was just missing in this game. And I think people will kind of wonder, why that is. And in the end, it's 3 incompletions. It's 3 overshot balls to Brennan, one to I think another one to Mosley, and then another one to Anthony Evans III. And in the end, that's the difference between this game being, I think to me, 2 scores more than what it ended up being. So the question is, like, can they do that against a Tennessee next week? And look, folks, like, let's just be honest. Tennessee is really good. They destroyed UAB today, but my local high school probably could put up with UAB. Just kidding. It makes me sad that UAB is in such a bad spot because I love when UAB is good. It's so sad, but it won't be. I don't feel like they're going to be down for too much longer. After the season's finished with. But anyway, Tennessee destroyed them, and Tennessee looks really good. And it's a very similar offense to what Jeff Lebby ran because he was under Heupel at UCF. And it's funny watching Tennessee play. If you're not watching Mississippi State, is like the better version of Mississippi State in terms of what they can do offensively. Just kind of the play calling is like, oh yeah, they knocked down that over the middle crossing route to the tight end, and it's the same one that Shapen hits to Traore for Mississippi State. So anyway, but it sets up a big game for next week for Mississippi State to get their first SEC win of the year in their first SEC game. But they're going to have that ability to throw the ball downfield. And in this game, that was just missing. In the end, that's all it really was. I mean, look, Shapen threw for 160 yards. He completes those. He's at 250. Whatever the case may be. But overall, it's not like he was missing easy receivers and easy completions. He was just missing the things that were over the top. So that has to be considered in this game. But again, a lot of credit to NIU. Really, I love listening to Coach Hammock. I listened to his press conference this week, and just every time I hear him, I'm like, dude, that guy, I would love to play for that guy. If I had any eligibility left, I feel like I could be a good center, as long as if there was a big nose guard, I'd be in some trouble. But like, I feel like I could play center. I got the size to play center. Too small for a guard, and definitely too small for a tackle. The only time I played guard back in the day, and I remember we were up. No one cares about listening to this, but I'll tell you this because it's a little embarrassing. We were up on a team by a good amount. It was in the fourth quarter, late in the game, And I hit the guy at the line of scrimmage and kind of let him go because the quarterback was doing kind of a bootleg out to the right. And I hit my guy one time and let him through because I was like, it's a bootleg. This game's over with. They're going to the right. And all of a sudden, the quarterback gets tackled and is yelling in pain. Our head coach was his dad. And his dad's over there checking on him. And I look over and his dad's teary-eyed because he has broken his leg and he is out for the season. And it was all my fault because the guy who tackled him was my guy that I let through the line. But that's okay. That's why I'm not a great prospect at the next level or beyond. And every once in a while, my friends will tease me and say, like, that's fun, man. He's doing his thing now, but like he would have been an NFL quarterback, and now he can't. He can't even play with his kids in the right way because you let that guy through the line that one day. And so that's good. It's always nice to kind of go to sleep with a little bit of guilt. But anyway, the fact of the matter is Mississippi State has a really big game on Saturday against Tennessee, and they're going to have to hit those downfield shots to have any chance in the game. And so I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking about this game this week and kind of going over it. We will have an interview with Heath Riles to talk about barbecue and tailgating here in the next either this week or the week after that. We're trying to nail down some times with him. But as always, thank you guys so much for listening to My Dogs Pod on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue.